Everyone's like, oh, look, here comes Pensy Joe bringing the Pennsylvania stuff because really test LED in the headlight, but we'll take this quite well by all. Regular combination, she's all that Sheet at 10. Proceed to 15. Hey everybody, this is Pensy Joe back again for another TCS WOW install. In this case for this series, it's a DCC Install Series video. Now this is going to be sort of like a, how would I call it, a tutorial video on how to do, hard wiring for any locomotive that is, pre-Paragon 2 and stuff like that. For example, Blueline and the original Paragon series, and maybe even PCM, but really just the Paragon and the Blueline series had these 6-pin connectors that go into the locomotive. So this is pretty much like if you want to start getting into hardwiring your Broadway engines and learn how to hardwire Broadway engines, the best way to start is to get a Blueline model such as this one. It's very simple. You don't even have to open up the locomotive. The locomotive you can keep completely shut. And yeah, it's very simple to work on Blueline engines, and with that being the case, even Paragon 1 engines, because you rarely have to open up the locomotive to do anything unless you want to add your own wiring yourself or lighting functions such as, firebox flicker or cab lights or even marker lights if you want to be that ambitious. So like I've already done with my first M1 number 6755. I didn't do a video on that one, but when I got another chance to get an M1, I figured it's finally time to do the M1b. For the M1b, we're only going to look inside the tender today. Inside the tender, we're just going to do right rail, left rail, motor minus, motor plus, and we're going to do, obviously, we're going to be doing the voltage plus and the ground for the headlight. The M1s didn't really have a reverse light. I'm not sure if the later models did, but I doubt that they did. As you can see for the tender, there's no reverse light, headlight, or working marker lights. So, with that being the case, we're not going to be doing any extra lighting functions. It would have been cool to do like marker lights for this. However, the marker lights are the claw foots on top. If it can focus, but I don't think it's going to focus. So, unfortunately, this is not going to be the most complicated TCS WOW install. I'm really just going to be adding TCS WOW with the Keep Alive capacitor. And I'm just going to be able to hardwire the headlight so that the headlight works in conjunction with, the decoder. And really, it's just for the motor performance. I don't think I did a review series on the Blueline M1. And the reason why I'm not going to do one until after I do a decoder install with this is because they're really DCC ready locomotives. And I don't really have my DC controller hooked up, and it's still packed away somewhere. So I'm not going to really go and get it. And to be honest with you, if you want to know what the sounds are, just look up any other QSI locomotive, except I would argue that the sound quality and pretty much the sounds that come from the QSI decoder is not really optimal. It's a cheaper, simpler version of the QSI decoder, but it's outfitted to have a motor control decoder hooked up to it. So I'll show you once we open up the tender. And without further ado, let's get started. So before you can open the tender, there are really 2 screws down here that you need to unscrew first before you're able to open up the tender. So if we use just a regular screwdriver right here, you can use Phillips or flathead. There we go, just cracked that screw open. Easy to unscrew. Check the other one. See how tight it is. I don't have my other screwdriver up here. I may have to go get it. Yeah, I'm going to have to go get the other screwdriver for this so I don't fray it. I'll be right back. and I'll unscrew it, and then we'll take the shell off. Alrighty, since I got the other screwdriver right here and I unscrewed the other screw, this is what the decoder looks like. It's a DCC ready decoder. I'm not sure why it's not focusing. There we go. And we got a dummy decoder right here for DC only. So yeah, we're not going to use this anymore. I'm going to unscrew it, take it out, and then we're going to start working with the pickups. Oh, I'm going to have to use one hand. I'll get back to you when I take the decoder off and unplug everything. Make it easier. Alright, I got the decoder off. That's what it looks like. It's probably limited imports. It's an HO100E, so that's how you can tell what generation it is. It's a 100 series. And this is what we have left. So we're going to look under the tender. Take a look at the wheels. And this looks like to be left side. This is left side pickup truck. And this is right side pickup truck. Yep, I'm just going to check this light for a second. Yep. So right side is in the back and left side is in the front, which is fairly good. I mean, this is a big locomotive. I mean, the M1s were not, the Mountains are not, small engines. So without further ado, I'm going to start cutting the wires. And I'll get back to you once I have right rail and left rail hooked up, especially for this. Obviously, the pin holes are on the bottom. So if we go like this, right, pin holes are going to be like this. And you're going to go from right to left, obviously. So right rail is going to be the first pin on the right, or the closest to us on the bottom. And left rail pickup is going to be the left, the final pin, the 6th pin on this JST plug. And then motor minus and motor plus is in between pins 2 and 5. And pin 3 is obviously going to be the voltage power for the headlight. And pin 4 is going to be our ground wire for the headlight as well. So I'm going to do a little time skip right here where I finished everything with the right rail and left rail, and then we're going to do the motor minus and motor plus. Hey everybody, so I'm back. So I already did the headlight and the rear light. I'm sorry, just the headlight with the resistor and for the voltage plus. Now, actually, I made a mistake. There's actually 7 pins on this model. The 5th pin from the right of the locomotive, from the engineer's side, from at pin 5, that is actually for the reed switch that's inside the locomotive that would sit on top of the gearbox tower. And obviously there was a chuff sensor inside. So what you can do with pin 5, you can actually make it an output for another lighting. But if you want to do that, you will have to open the locomotive. I did make a little mistake over here. I wasn't paying attention, and for some reason I chose to snip in this end for the left rail, but I resoldered it barely. It is exposed, but there's no metal really exposed to anywhere, so to really mess with that. So it's fixed, though I might come back to the future to cover it or something like that. Use some really small heat shrink to try and tighten that up. At some point... I might as well get a new tether at some point. So, last thing I'm trying to do is just really the speaker. That's all you got to really do after you do the right rail, left rail. Make sure you do the motor minus and motor plus correctly, and the headlight positive, and the negative output that actually activates the headlight. And once you're done, you can just twist some of the other wires that you maybe use for later. Always good to have some possibilities in the future if you want to ever revisit your models to add something or rework something. The last thing to do is just put these 2 wires and solder them. So these 2 wires right here that hook to those 2 speakers that are below this metal plate. And then after that, we'll bring it downstairs and program the locomotive and do a test run with it and see how she goes. Alrighty, the speaker is all fired up now. Now the last thing to do is just put the shawl on the tender, and we'll go downstairs and test out 6791. Okay, here we are in the basement. We got our M1 number 6791 here, ready to go. As you can see, your headlight's shining brightly as it should. Gotta refocus, not sure why it's not focusing. Let me see if we can get lower. That might fix things up a bit. Already got the whistle programmed in. We got the auto bell. And now we're ready to go. Let's do some testing with the locomotive and see how she runs. That's a good time to test the brakes. there you have it. So I have to say this locomotive has become a great success in the end. I can't wait to use this locomotive more often, especially in the future videos. I do plan on double heading this locomotive with 6755, the only surviving M1b in real life. In case you're wondering, 6755 is still on the workbench upstairs. I plan on getting an upgrade for the BLI for that locomotive. She does have issues, especially with track. Obviously, I've cleaned the wheels and all that stuff, though it's always good to have that extra, extra oomph just in case, something does go wrong. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this TCS WOW install. And without further ado, I'll do some final run-bys, and then we'll call this video to a close. And I'll see you guys in the next video down the line. Bye now.